Bloody hell.
But they people outside of Ireland.
Stop laughing when you say something like that.
No, I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing at the next bit. They formed a supergroup in '85 in Ireland called The Concerned, which was included Dave Fanning, Pat Kenny, Jerry Ryan,
Fanning? What?
Linda Martin, Christy Moore, Mary Black, Adele King, Maura O'Connelly, Freddie White, Eamon Carr. I'm not going to go and keep Canet.
How do we not know about this group?
This is...
Oh, okay, so it's a charity record. That's why.
Oh,
that's all right. Because I was getting a bit. I was kind of like,
Ireland's version of the travelling Wilburys just went unnoticed.
Yeah, I was kind of like, what?
Pat Kenny there dressed up as the clown, playing the fucking the kegs, vomiting in his mask.
Oh my God,
I'm dirty.
Because for anybody,
Jerry Seinfeld.
Yes, because for anybody who doesn't know, Dave Fanning is he's a radio presenter who is for decades has been sort of the one to bring sort of like,
he would have been like the John Peel,
kind
Ireland.
Of indie kind of music, sort of underground, the alternative side of music. He would have been the one to bring it to the airways of.
And Pat Kenny would have been our version of Jay Leno, but without a personality.
Yes, exactly.
And also, when Wayne says Jerry Ryan, he doesn't mean the Jerry Ryan that was on Voyager.
Yeah. Imagine it's just like, what am I doing here? I'm on board,
No, this Jerry Ryan was a male who was very opinionated and who talked a lot like this.
Yeah, he would have been kind of, I suppose, like our version of Howard Stern, but without the personality. But the whole thing with Pat Kenny, if just type Pat Kenny toy show Jerry Seinfeld into, there was this whole thing where when Jerry Seinfeld was promoting the B movie he appeared on, there's a thing in Ireland called the Toy Show every Christmas, which is like really horrendous because it's just promoting toys. It's just a big ad for like multiple toys.
It's a big ad for toys, and it's also like a great way for RT to go, no, our presenters don't take cocaine. It's like, why are they running around for 2 hours to stop and take a breath?
Kids on it as well, like that perform, or kids review the toys. But as well, it's just right before Christmas, so it's way too late. So if it's like...
so if kids see something on this and go, I want that, Mammy, and it's kind of like, well, it's all sold out and I've already bought all your toys for Christmas anyway, so tough shit, you're going to be really disappointed come Christmas Day because of the toy show. Oh well.
You have to ask Santa for it.
But Seinfeld, he was on the show promoting B movie at the time, and he came out and you could just see he's like walks out kind of going, what
baffled.
The fuck
I am so baffled. What am I doing?
And Pat Kenny is like making a balls of talking to him, and then he's like, I understand you're a big Superman fan, so I got you a present. And you can see him kind of like in the show and he hands him like a really shitty fucking kind
like
of
a pound shop job. A Superman toy, and Jerry Seinfeld is kind of like, thank you. And he kept on calling him Jerry Seinfeld.
He didn't call him.
Kept on getting the name.
Where he also dressed up like an action man.
I think he might have, but it was a fucking mess. But it was, the whole thing is, well, there was a band in the 70s, I suppose this gets us to the Father Ted thing, called the Swarbrigs, who were, I don't know, they're probably like an Osmonds fucking knockoff. And then in 1977, their song, they had like an extra 2 people with them. So instead of changing the name of the band, they just called it the Swarbrigs plus 2. They had a song called
Faith Plus 1.
Yeah, It's Nice to Be in Love Again. And that's the song that My Lovely Horse is based on.
And I'm sure everybody remembers the Father Ted episode where they do My Lovely Horse.
International listeners, they mightn't. So for anyone who doesn't know, Father Ted was a show kind of in England and Ireland in the early 90s.
Early 90s, I suppose. Dermot Morgan basically did it, and it was based on these priests living on an island called Craggy Island,
which is a real island, but it's not Craggy Island. It's like the Aran Islands, I suppose.
Exactly, but basically it was just these inept priests. There was one old priest who was basically a drunkard who just swore the whole time. There was a young priest who absolutely had no idea what was going on at any stage, and who had somehow just stumbled into the priesthood. And there was Father Ted, the eponymous Father Ted, who was basically trying to hold it all together and thought he was an awful lot smarter than what he was.
And it's actually
it was a bit of a far-fetched TV show though, because the premise of it was these priests were all sent to this island and like pushed away because they disgraced the church. Like The Catholic Church would never do that in real life.
I know that they would. They just leave it there.
Apart from that, it was probably the closest thing to a representation of Irish life as possible.
It's like a real life version of The Simpsons.
Yes,
yeah, because there's just like bizarre fucking shit. It's like 30 Rock. I think 30 Rock and Father Ted are very, very similar.
That's true, yeah.
But it is. Yeah. But the whole thing is like a lot of people, they looked at it and think, well, like, oh yeah, that's like a good satire. It's like, or could they really
every
like
single character, they are characters that you...
That fun fair. They do a fun fair in it where it's like the fucking the Ferris wheel is like made out of wood and it's like someone cranking it. I've seen shit like that around
exactly.
Ireland.
Or there's things like go for a spin on a tractor on a hay bale, and it's like that happens.
Yeah.
Or there's like, what's his name, Pat Short's character who used to wear the I Shot JR t-shirt. Yeah, there's one of those in every village.
Yeah. There's a whole thing. We were living in a place called Castlecomer years ago, and it's I don't know how to describe Castlecomer for people who've never been there, but it just kind of like picture any kind of like horror movie. And you're kind of close to where we were living. It was nearly like the Evil Dead laneway up to the cabin.
There was an abandoned piggery on the way up
on the back of us, and every now and again you'd hear kind of like strange noises coming out where you kind of what?
Yes.
There's
and also if you remember Graham, and people probably would know, if anyone's going to know anyone from it, they know Graham Norton.
Yeah, Graham Norton. There was a lot of famous Irish people that showed up in it.
Tommy Tiernan.
First really popular thing he was in, and he just plays this really energetic priest.
Enthusiastic, who brings the youth club kids away on holidays this caravan.
I think he just plays the equivalent of himself but dialed up to 11.
Yes.
But there's a whole episode I know where they do a fucking song where they entered into the Eurovision and they go into, and the only reason that they got picked to go into it is because Ireland was after winning it a few years and they were like, we can't have it here again.
We can't afford to host it. Yeah, that's it, essentially.
Which was what a lot of people were saying. We'll get into it later on in the 90s, what kind of happened in the 90s.
It was an actual thing,
and it was like the song that they did was My Lovely Horse. Go off and listen to it. Like it's...
it is, you listen to it.
Or go find the Father Ted. I think you can watch it on Channel 4's online web portal, so
it's probably on Netflix. I think it's on Netflix in the States and stuff like that.
But My Lovely Horse is actually, you could listen to it and you go, that is the Eurovision song, and you could quite happily hear that in the Eurovision and think, that's a contender for winning, which will give you an idea of what Eurovision songs are quite like.
But I suppose after that, then kind of like the 70s.
Well, I mean, we can't get out of the 70s without mentioning Colin Wilkinson, because Colin Wilkinson, for those who don't, well, people might know him because he is incredibly famous for Les Mis. He is Jean Valjean in Les Mis and Phantom of the Opera and all the rest. He is fantastic.
Jean Valjean was in the Phantom of the Opera.
Yes.
I stole some bread.
Again.
Fuck off.
You see, they started out separate, but then people were like, what if Jean Valjean fought the Phantom of the Opera with the original Alien vs Predator?
No, it's like Kong versus Godzilla.
And then Jean Valjean got struck by lightning and he came back super powerful.
But I think this is one, it's hilarious.
It is, because knowing Colin Wilkinson from his later days as like Jean Valjean, he's a super respected tenor and all the rest, and he, musicals, and everyone's like, oh my god, he's such a fantastic singer and all this kind of stuff. Watch his Eurovision performance. He's wearing possibly the tightest pants I've ever seen. He
looks like a Kenny Everett character.
But that is exactly what it is. He's super animated and he's dancing all over the place. He's like, it's like he has bees stuffed down his trousers. Bees. And he's trying to somehow wiggle the bees out of his trousers without letting anybody know.
He's like fucking kind of like we did about the world of... Oh, what's his name? I bring you fire. What kind of thing?
Bloody hell! Why can't I think of it now? Just knocked it straight out of my head. But I don't know. Yeah,
we were talking about him on the shock rock thing.
Yes,
but
But he also reminds me of that thing that Mulaney did. His.
The
Sack Lunch Kids.
When fucking Jake Gyllenhaal comes in, music here,
music there, music.
Yeah, everywhere. It is a bit like that, but it's way over dramatic and so all this. But he's fucking freaking out when he's just singing it, and you can see people are probably like, "What is going on?"
Yes, and it's like cocaine.
Yeah, I'd imagine there was like dubious or fucking quite a lot of cocaine.
Yes,
well, I think that brings it into kind of like the more modern era, into the 70s.
From the 70s
into the 70s.
Now we finished talking about the 70s. Let's talk about the 70s.
Yes.
Congratulations, you've just realised you're in hell. We're talking about Eurovision in the 70s forever.
Yes, but we're going into the 80s and into our fantastic...
It brings in a character who ends up been very important for Ireland's kind of like history in the Eurovision and kind of Irish music in general and English music
too, actually, I think,
and McDonald lads.
Yeah, but Johnny Logan,
yes.
I can't. He's like the Irish version of David Hasselhoff.
Yeah, actually, that's a very good description. Yeah.
But he won when he was like a sweet young boy with.
He reminds me of a kind of a Rick Astley kind of a lookalike as well. You know, that kind of a. You know,
I think Johnny's a little bit more suave,
and sophisticated.
Yeah, but like I mean, it's a great song, and I think that this is when
you actually went in twice. Let's not forget that you went in twice.
But he wrote some of the other winners as well. Things and like the whole thing with Johnny Logan is. He probably gets really underrated because he was a bit of a joke in Ireland, even though he was
even though he won the competition twice.
And like I mean, because like we were saying, people had a tendency to put in stuff that was like a knockoff of what was popular in the charts at the time, or what was after winning the previous year. So around that stage, we had a lot of kind of like ABBA knockoffs or people like trying to be Earth, Wind and Fire and disco and stuff. And he was just like a singer songwriter, not playing the guitar, but he went to and it was very, very, very different from other things that were after going in. We fucking blew apart the whole thing, and probably changed the Eurovision as well because he was a bit. I don't know.
He was a crooner as well. He was one of these kind of, you know, and that's what the Eurovision kind of.
At the time, he was kind of cool. Kind of like,
wow.
Maybe cool for the Eurovision.
Well, cool. I was just about to say cool for the Eurovision, certainly not cool for the 80s, because if you look at it at that stage, if you look at what else was going on, if we go back to what we talk about in our other sort of podcast, thrash metal and stuff was starting to fucking take off, and then you've got Johnny Logan in Ireland, and you're going like, let's weigh him up, which is cooler. I think I'll go with thrash metal, thank you very much.
Yeah, but in the 80s, Ireland was kind of caught
piece by piece.
But in the 80s, Ireland probably would have been a little bit of a time delay, so it probably would have been like for the mainstream, and it would have been the height of cool.
I thought he was like guaranteed I was like 1 year of age, but like, I thought he was cool.
Yes, a 1-year-old thought Johnny was cool. But yeah, I mean, for people who might not who might need a little nudge, his very big hit at the Eurovision was Hold Me Now,
and that was 87, and he won it again.
Don't say
but he I can't, because it doesn't come up on it, but he wrote an awful lot of Eurovision things, and I think he wrote stuff for like English entries as well. Like Johnny Logan is still going. He is like a prolific producer, and so he is actually a good song. I hate this because like obviously the Eurovision is generally tacky and shit, but the songs that he put into it, they were really, really, really good, and they do hold up to that. You kind of go, fucking hell, there's some smart kind of like weird kind of things going on with the songwriting process.
I love that song. That's the thing. I mean, that was Hold Me Now is what, 1987? I still know the words to that. How many years is it away from 1987 now? It's fucking decades, and I will still, if that song comes on, I'm like, yep, fucking singing that. All right, give me the microphone.
Do you remember Johnny Logan, Mark?
Not like I think the first time, because obviously when he was in his prime going through it, would have been before I was born, but I remember the first kind of time I saw was actually when McDonald's in Ireland decided to reprise the song Hold Me Now, with him just jumping out of wardrobes looking at the people.
God.
Like, yeah, he'd be like, oh no, you used my tinted moisturizer, oh no, and then he just jump out of the jump out of the wardrobe going, it's okay, don't worry about it. So I was like, who the fuck is this? And people were like, it's Johnny Logan. How do you not know Johnny Logan? I'm like, don't. But yeah, like Johnny Logan and Linda Martin kind of would have been the big hitters for like the 80s and kind of going into the 90s.
Oh, sorry, Mark, I'm just after looking up because I knew he wrote it. He wrote Niamh Kavanagh's song In Your Eyes, which won as well. He wrote The Rock and Roll Kids, which also won. And never mind. No, I'm after reading that wrong. I'm after reading that completely and utterly wrong. Never mind.
He didn't write those songs, did he?
No, he didn't at all.
Because I do know he wrote the Linda Martin's first song, Terminal 3, and that came second, I think.
He also apparently You Never Walk Alone.
What?
He collaborated on it.
What, the Liverpool song?
Yeah, I think there was like a chart top. It was a charity single, so he just sang it. That's all.
Are you having a stroke?
Yeah, well, you see, the thing is because we didn't really do any research for it. I'm trying to do research in the middle of
I know quite a lot about the Eurovision, so shut your face.
Have you know?
Yes, excuse me. And please go back to the list of Eurovision songs, because
I thought you knew a lot about the Eurovision, eh? But yeah,
yes,
I think
she does not have an eidetic memory, so, you know.
I think in the 80s, because Ireland was doing well, that there was like a shift as well in perception where it was kind of like, right, we need to actually win this. So what they used to do was, it was like very amateur, well, not very amateur, but it was like people